And joining us tonight to talk more about the Women's March is Tamika Middleton. She is a Women's March Deputy Director. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So how did the day go? Tell us about it and tell us whether the objective of the Women's March has changed over the years.
Absolutely. I think the day went amazing. In DC, we had more than 20,000 people in attendance. We had hundreds of thousands more folks in the 650 other cities across the country where we had marches and rallies. And I think it was beautiful. I think we've been able to spread the message about abortion justice, to spread the kind of broader call and the demands that we're making. In terms of your other question, I would say that the broad objective of the Women's March remains the same: to build, to harness, and demonstrate the collective political power of women. We still use mass mobilization as a way to do that. However, I would say that we've sharpened our focus to growing a mass movement towards a feminist future. And we see these mobilizations as entry points into the social movements. And we continue to build with folks when they enter and build their leadership, develop their voice, and deepen their understanding of the world around them in order to strengthen our collective power.
And this was not only a reaction, of course, to the Texas case, but it's also looking ahead to other cases, including the Mississippi case, right? Explain.
Absolutely. So because of this moment, the Rally for Abortion Justice that we saw today is actually a part of a collective effort by over 100 organizations who see that both SB 8 in Texas and the Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization case, or the Mississippi case, are bellwethers of the high stakes that we're facing when it comes to abortion access and reproductive freedom in this country. There are a number of states that not only have these trigger bans, as was mentioned earlier, but also a number of states that are lining up to follow Texas's lead and to implement similar laws to SB 8. And we see a number of conservatives attempting to leverage that Mississippi case in order to overturn Roe v. Wade. And so for us, today was the first collective step in a longer strategy to build power, to build capacity, momentum, and infrastructure, collective infrastructure across the country to stop these attacks on abortion access for all of us.
Do you feel there's a generational gap between younger and older women when it comes to the understanding of the history of abortion rights in this country?
I don't know that I would say there is a generational gap, but I do think there is and has been an evolution of the understanding of abortion access and the understanding in the narrative around it. So for instance, we saw in DC today, the young people from Jane's Due Process in Texas, especially phenomenal young woman named Anna Lee, speaking out and sharing their stories as teenagers and teenagers who needed the support of Jane's Due Process to receive the care that they needed. And we also saw our speaker, Margie Del Castillo from the National Latina Institute for Reproductive Justice, sharing the story of Rosie Jimenez. So I do think that younger generations are engaged and are rooted in the history of abortion rights. But I also think that younger generations have pushed the narrative to be broader, to be more inclusive across gender, to be more rooted in racial, economic, immigration, and reproductive justice.
All right, Tamika, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Appreciate having you.
Thank you.